The fluorescent lights in County General had been flickering for 3 days straight. Mia Carter didn't believe in omens, but she'd started counting the seconds between each sputter, anything to avoid looking at the bill folded in her jacket pocket. $23,000 for surgery her son needed in 6 days. She had $900 in her account. Dr. Evelyn Cross emerged from Liam's room with that expression. The one doctors practiced in medical school. Sympathy measured in milliliters, just enough to seem human without getting attached. "We need to discuss timeline," Evelyn said, not unkindly. Maya's throat closed. "He's stable, though, right? You said yesterday. Yesterday his markers were acceptable. Today they're not." Evelyn glanced at her tablet, then at Mia, and something flickered across her face. Not quite guilt. Recognition, maybe. "I'm going to be direct with you, Mia. The hospital board won't approve the surgery without payment assurance. And the degradation in his organ function means we're looking at 72 hours, not 6 days. The hallway tilted. Mia pressed her palm against the wall, forcing air into her lungs. She'd been here before. Not this hospital, but this feeling. The night Liam was born, when she woke up in a clinic she didn't remember entering, with a baby she didn't remember delivering, and gaps in her memory wide enough to swallow her whole life. "There has to be something," Mia whispered. "A program, a loan, anything. There is one option." Evelyn's voice dropped, though it's unconventional. Before Mia could respond, her phone vibrated. Unknown number. She almost ignored it, but desperation makes you answer anything. "Miss Carter." The voice was male, smooth, the kind of control that suggested violence beneath the surface. "I have a proposal that will solve your immediate financial crisis. I'll expect you at Hale Tower, penthouse level, in 1 hour." The line went dead. Mia stared at the phone, then at Dr. Cross, whose expression had gone carefully blank. "Who was that?" Mia asked. "If I were you," Evelyn said slowly, "I'd go." The elevator to the penthouse played soft jazz, as if wealth could be translated into background music. Mia's reflection in the mirrored walls looked hollowed out. Dark circles, unwashed hair pulled into a knot, the same jacket she'd been wearing for 3 days, because going home meant admitting defeat. When the doors opened, the man by the window didn't turn around. "You're late," he said. "I came as fast as... I know about your son." Mia froze. The sunset behind him turned his silhouette into something predatory, all sharp angles and contained power. When he finally faced her, she understood why her instincts were screaming. Dominic Hale looked like he'd been carved from something harder than bone, dark eyes that tracked her with uncomfortable precision, a face too controlled to be merely handsome. "How do you know about Liam?" Her voice came out steadier than she felt. "I make it my business to know things." He gestured toward a leather chair. "Sit. This won't take long." Mia remained standing. "Why am I here?" Something almost like approval crossed his face. "I need a fiancé. Someone intelligent enough to navigate pack politics, human enough to seem non-threatening, and desperate enough not to ask questions. You need money. It's a simple transaction." Pack politics. Mia repeated the words like they might make sense the second time. "What are you?" "Direct." "Good." Dominic moved closer, and Mia noticed he walked without sound. "The werewolf community operates under specific laws, Miss Carter. To maintain my position as alpha, I require a human mate to satisfy the council's concerns about my temperament. You will attend functions, play the role of loving fiancé for 6 months, and in return, your son receives the best medical care available. All expenses covered. Permanently." Mia's laugh came out bitter. "This is insane. This is survival." His eyes didn't blink. "You have 68 hours before your son's organs begin to fail. I'm offering you a solution." "Why me?" "Because you're invisible. No family. No connections. No one who would question your sudden engagement to me. And because..." He paused, head tilting slightly, nostrils flaring. "There's something about you I can't quite identify. That makes you perfect." The contract on the table was already prepared. Professional, thorough, terrifying in its specificity. Mia's hands shook as she reached for the pen. "What's the catch?" "No secrets." Dominic's voice dropped to something barely above a whisper. "You will tell me everything I ask. Everything. I don't have secrets. Everyone has secrets, Miss Carter. The question is whether yours will kill us both." She signed anyway. What choice did she have? The moment the ink dried, the penthouse lights flickered. Dominic's entire body went rigid, head snapping toward the elevator. His eyes, they changed just for a second. Not quite human anymore. "We need to move," he said. "Now." "What? Why?" "Because someone just caught your son's scent." His hand closed around her wrist, not rough, but immovable. "And they're already hunting him." Dominic drove like he was fleeing hell itself, which Mia was beginning to suspect might be accurate. He'd thrown her into a black SUV and peeled out of the parking garage without explanation, and now they were racing through city streets at speeds that should have involved sirens. "You're going to explain," Mia said. "What the fuck is happening? Right now. Your son isn't human." The words hit like a physical blow. "That's not. He's just sick," the doctor said. "The doctors don't know what they're looking at." Dominic took a corner hard enough to make the tires scream. "He's hybrid. Part human, part wolf. And judging by the power signature I caught when I signed that contract, he's not just any hybrid. He's highborn. Extremely highborn." Mia's mind raced. The gaps in her memory. The clinic. The way Liam sometimes looked at her with eyes too old for a 5-year-old. "Who's his father?" Dominic asked. "I don't know." "Try again. I'm serious." Her voice cracked. "I don't remember. There was a night about 6 years ago, and it's fuzzy. Wrong. Like someone reached into my head and erased pieces." Dominic went very still. "Describe him. The man. Anything. Tall. Dark hair. Eyes that..." Mia's breath hitched. "Eyes that glowed. I thought I imagined it. I thought I was drunk or drugged or..." "Fuck." Dominic slammed his palm against the steering wheel. "Rafe Varyn." "Who?" "The alpha I deposed. The monster the council exiled. The reason I have 100 enemies who'd love to see me dead." He pulled into an underground garage, killed the engine. "If your son is Rafe's heir, we're not just in danger. We're at the center of a war that's been brewing for 3 years. Mia's phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. "I know where my son is. Time to come home, little wolf." The temperature in the car dropped 10 degrees. "He knows," Dominic said quietly, "which means we have less time than I thought." The safe house was less house and more fortress. Concrete walls, reinforced windows, enough security to make a prison jealous. Dominic carried Liam inside while Mia followed, her mind still trying to process the last 2 hours. Werewolves. Packs. Alphas. Her son was part of this world, and she'd never known. She found Liam in a bedroom that smelled like pine and something wild. He was still sleeping, small and fragile against white sheets. Mia brushed hair from his forehead, and his eyes fluttered open, amber, like autumn leaves. Like the eyes of the man from her fractured memories. "Mama?" His voice was small, confused. "Where are we?" "Somewhere safe, baby." She kissed his forehead, tasting salt and fear on her own lips. Dominic appeared in the doorway. "We need to talk." Mia followed him to the main room, where he poured 2 glasses of whiskey without asking. She drank hers in one burning swallow. "Rafe will come for him," Dominic said. "Not tonight, but soon. He's been searching for his heir for years. The council stripped him of everything except his bloodline. Liam represents his only path back to power. Over my dead body. That's what he's counting on." Dominic's expression softened fractionally. "I won't let that happen." "Why?" Mia's exhaustion turned to anger. "Why do you care? You needed a fake fiancé. You got one. Why risk your life for a kid who isn't even?" "Because I know what it's like to be someone's weapon." The rawness in his voice stopped her cold. "Rafe was trained to rule. I was trained to kill. We're both just products of a system that values power over everything else. Your son deserves better." Before Mia could respond, glass shattered in the back room. Liam screamed. They ran, but the bedroom was already chaos, wind howling through broken windows, shadows moving with predatory grace. A massive figure stood silhouetted against the moon, and when it turned, Mia saw the face from her nightmares. Rafe Varyn was beautiful in the way natural disasters are beautiful, terrible and compelling and utterly inhuman. His eyes found hers, and recognition flared. "You kept him from me." His voice was gravel and silk. "You hid my son." "He's not yours," Mia heard herself say. "He's mine." Rafe smiled, and it was the saddest thing Mia had ever seen. "Do you remember that night? What I told you?" And suddenly, she did. Fragments rushing back like a dam breaking. "I need an heir. Something the council can't touch. You won't remember this, but thank you." "You used me," Mia whispered. "I saved you." Rafe moved closer, ignoring Dominic's warning growl. "You were dying in that alley. Overdose," the human said. "I gave you life, and in return, you gave me him." "You manipulated her," Dominic snarled. "You violated her mind." I gave her a choice. Rafe's control cracked, power radiating from him in waves that made the walls tremble. More choice than anyone gave me. She said yes. Mia's legs nearly gave out. Because he was right. She remembered now. The choice. The desperate grab at survival. The agreement. Take me instead, she said. Both men turned to stare. You want leverage? You want revenge? Fine. But Liam stays with Dominic. He stays safe. Dominic started. No. She faced Rafe with more courage than she possessed. You said I helped you once. Prove you're not the monster everyone claims. Let him be a child. Just a child. Not an heir. Not a weapon. Something in Rafe's expression crumbled. He looked at Liam, really looked, and Mia saw the exact moment he made his choice. I'll give you 3 days, Rafe said quietly. 3 days to prepare him. Then I'm taking him to my territory where he belongs. That's not. 3 days, Dominic. Or I call in every favor, burn every bridge, and take him tonight. Rafe's eyes flickered to Mia. I'm trying to be merciful. Don't make me remember why I stopped. He vanished through the broken window, leaving only wind and the smell of copper. Dominic caught Mia as her knees buckled. We're not giving him up. I don't see how we have a choice. In that, there's always a choice. His arms tightened around her. We just have to be willing to pay for it. Dr. Evelyn Cross arrived at dawn, her presence somehow more unsettling than Rafe's threats. She examined Liam with clinical efficiency, while Mia hovered, unwilling to let him out of sight. His wolf is emerging faster than expected, Evelyn said, not looking up from her tablet. The stress is accelerating the transformation. What does that mean? Mia demanded. It means he'll shift within 48 hours. And if he's not properly prepared, if he doesn't have pack support. Evelyn finally met her eyes. His body might not survive the first change. The room spun. You knew. Dominic's voice was deadly quiet. You knew what he was when Mia brought him to the hospital. I suspected. Evelyn closed her tablet with a precise click. I confirmed it when I saw his blood work. Do you know what happens when you suppress a hybrid's nature? When you raise them human without telling them what they are? It kills them, Dominic finished. Usually. But Liam is different. Evelyn's expression turned calculating. He's stable in ways he shouldn't be. Stronger. Like someone designed him that way. Designed? Mia's voice came out strangled. Evelyn looked at her for a long moment. There was a program, years ago, genetic manipulation to create stronger, more controllable wolves. It was shut down after the incidents, but she hesitated. Some samples were preserved, frozen, protected. You're saying someone made Liam in a lab? Mia's laugh was hysterical. That's insane. Is it? Evelyn pulled up a file on her tablet, turned it toward them. Medical records, DNA sequences, photos of children who looked almost human but not quite. Rafe wasn't just looking for an heir. He was looking for the perfect heir, one that could unite both worlds. Dominic studied the records, his face going paler with each swipe. The Ascension Project. I thought it was a myth. Myths are just history that people don't want to remember. Evelyn took back her tablet. Liam is the only surviving hybrid from that program, which makes him invaluable and incredibly dangerous to certain people who don't want their involvement exposed. Who? Mia demanded. Evelyn smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. That's the question, isn't it? Mia found Dominic on the balcony after Evelyn left, staring at the forest like it held answers. She wrapped a blanket around her shoulders and joined him in silence. I need you to promise me something, she said finally. Don't. If it comes down to choosing between Liam and me, Mia, here. He turned, and the raw emotion in his face made her breath catch. Don't ask me to choose who to save. I can't. I won't. He's a child. I'm not. The math is simple. The math is irrelevant. Dominic cupped her face with surprising gentleness. You think I agreed to this arrangement because I needed a fake fiancé? I could have hired anyone, paid them enough to keep quiet. But you, his thumb traced her cheekbone. You walked into my office, ready to fight the world for your son. That kind of love, that's rarer than any bloodline. Mia's eyes burned. I don't know how to save him. Then we figure it out together. The kiss surprised them both, desperate and tender, and tasting like all the words they couldn't say. Mia pulled back first, breathless. That wasn't in the contract, she whispered. Fuck the contract. Before she could respond, Liam's scream tore through the safe house. They ran, crashing into the bedroom to find him writhing on the bed, skin rippling like something was trying to claw its way out. His eyes had gone full amber, pupils dilated, teeth elongating into something not quite human. "He's shifting," Dominic said. "Too early, his body can't do something." Mia grabbed Liam's hand and power surged through her, bright and burning and completely wrong. She gasped, pulling back, but the damage was done. Liam went still, too still. For 3 horrible seconds, Mia thought he was dead. Then his eyes opened, human and confused. "Mama?" "Right here, baby." She gathered him close, hands shaking. "Right here." Dominic stared at her with an expression she couldn't read. "What was that?" "I don't know." "Mia, your hand is glowing." She looked down. He was right. Faint light pulsed beneath her skin, following her veins like circuit boards. As she watched, it faded, leaving only normal human flesh. "That's not possible," she whispered. "I'm human. You survived a modification procedure." Dominic's voice was very careful. "Rafe said he saved you. What if he didn't just save you? What if he changed you?" The implications crashed over her like a wave. Every strange moment since Liam was born. The way she could always find him, even in crowds. The dreams where she ran through forests on 4 legs. The unnatural strength when her son was threatened. "I'm not a werewolf," she said, but it sounded like a question. "No." Dominic's expression was grim. "You're something else. Something new." Rafe appeared 2 days later, not with violence, but with lawyers. They met in a neutral location, an abandoned church that smelled like decay and old prayers. The pack council sat in judgment, their faces carved from centuries of tradition and violence. "I invoke parental right," Rafe announced. "The child is mine by blood. The council recognizes bloodline above all else." "The child has been raised by another," Dominic countered. "Mia Carter is his mother in all ways that matter. Human law is irrelevant here. Then we invoke pack law." Dominic's voice rang through the church. "Trial by combat. If I win, Liam stays with Mia under my protection. If you win..." He paused, and Mia saw the calculation in his eyes. "You get your heir, but you leave Mia alone." "No," Mia said. Both men turned. "That's not how this ends. Mia." I said no. She stepped forward, addressing the council directly. "You're all sitting here deciding the fate of a 5-year-old like he's property. Like his life is yours to barter. But he's not. He's a person. And I'm done letting men with power make decisions about my son." Silence. Then Elder Morgana, oldest of the council, leaned forward. "What do you propose?" Mia took a breath. "Test me." "I'm sorry? You said bloodline matters. Fine. Test mine. If I have wolf blood, if I'm somehow part of this world, then I have standing to challenge Rafe's claim. Don't I?" The elders exchanged glances. Dominic looked torn between pride and terror. Rafe watched her with an unreadable expression. "Very well," Morgana said. "We will test your blood. If you possess the markers, you may speak for your son's future. If not," she gestured to Rafe, "the father's claim stands." The blood draw took seconds. The wait felt like hours. When Morgana returned, her expression was carefully neutral. "The results are unprecedented." "What does that mean?" Mia demanded. "It means you carry wolf markers, human markers, and something else, something that appears to be synthetic." Morgana looked at Rafe. "Did you know?" "No." For the first time, Rafe looked shaken. The procedure was supposed to be temporary, just enough to ensure conception. Not... He stopped. "Not permanent," Mia finished. "You turned me into an experiment." "I didn't know that would happen." "You didn't care what would happen." Her voice cracked. "You needed an incubator and you found one. Did you even ask if I wanted this? If I wanted to spend the rest of my life as what? Half human? Modified?" Rafe flinched like she'd struck him. "I gave you a gift. You gave me a curse. Enough." Morgana's voice cut through the tension. "By our laws, Mia Carter has standing, which means she may choose her son's fate and ours." The weight of every eye in the church settled on Mia's shoulders. "I choose freedom," she said quietly. "Not Rafe's pack, not Dominic's pack. My son will grow up knowing what he is, but he won't be forced to choose a side until he's old enough to understand what that means. We'll live as neutral parties, under council protection, and anyone who tries to claim him..." She looked at Rafe, then Dominic. "Answers to me." "That's not..." Rafe started. "That's unprecedented," Morgana interrupted. But she was smiling. "I like it. The boy becomes council ward until his 18th year, at which point he may choose his allegiance, or choose neither. The council will not protect. The council will do as I say." Morgana's voice dropped to something ancient and implacable. Or did you forget who sits at this table, Rafe Varyn? Your exile can become permanent very quickly. Rafe's jaw worked. Finally, he nodded once, sharply. And you? Morgana looked at Dominic. I accept the terms. He met Mia's eyes. On one condition, the engagement stands for 6 months as agreed, because Mia deserves that choice too. That's... Mia stopped. Considered. Fine. 6 months. Then we renegotiate. Dominic agreed. 3 months later, Mia woke to sunlight streaming through windows that didn't feel like prison bars anymore. Liam was in the kitchen with Dominic, attempting to make pancakes and failing spectacularly. Mama! He ran to her, face covered in batter. Dominic says I have to wait till I'm 7 to shift. Dominic is very wise, she said solemnly. Dominic is trying not to have a 5-year-old werewolf destroying his house, Dominic called from the stove. Mia joined them, accepting a mug of coffee that was probably too strong. They'd settled into this strange domestic rhythm, half real, half performance, and increasingly difficult to separate. Dr. Cross called, Dominic said quietly, while Liam was distracted. She found the lab, the one where the Ascension Project originated. And it's been active this whole time, just underground, funded by, he paused, several council members. Mia's blood went cold. Morgana? No, but others. Powerful ones. He set down his spatula. They wanted Liam back, to study him, complete the research. Over my dead body. That's what Evelyn said. Dominic smiled grimly. Right before she burned the lab to the ground and disappeared. Apparently, she had a crisis of conscience. Or a crisis of survival. Either way, the threat is neutralized, for now. Mia looked at her son, laughing at syrup dripping onto the counter, and felt something settle in her chest. Not safety, she'd never be safe again. But something close. Peace, maybe. Hard-won and fragile, but real. 3 months left on the contract, she said. 3 months, Dominic agreed. What happens after? He turned to face her fully. That depends. Are you asking because you want to leave, or because you want to stay? Mia considered. The weight of his gaze, the warmth of this kitchen, the sound of her son's laughter. Ask me again in 3 months, she said finally. Dominic smiled, genuine, unguarded, devastating. Fair enough. Outside, in the forest beyond the house, Rafe Varyn watched through binoculars. He'd been watching for weeks, making sure they were safe, making sure his son was happy. He'd never hold Liam, never hear him call him father. But he could do this. Watch. Protect from a distance. Maybe that's what love looked like when you were a monster learning to be a man. He lowered the binoculars and disappeared into the trees, leaving no trace but paw prints that would vanish with the next rain. In the kitchen, Liam's laughter rang like bells. And for the first time in 6 years, Mia believed in happy endings. Even the complicated, bloody ones. 3 months left on the contract. Mia stood in the bathroom, staring at the pregnancy test on the counter. Positive. She'd know the exact moment it happened. The night after the council meeting, when she and Dominic stopped pretending the contract was all they were. When grief and relief and desperation had blurred into something that felt like hope. Her hand moved to her stomach. Flat still, but not for long. She thought about Liam, asleep down the hall. About the life they'd built from ashes. About Dominic in the kitchen, probably burning toast, definitely trying his best. She thought about Rafe in the woods, watching, waiting, proving love could look like distance. And she thought about the baby inside her, not engineered this time, not a weapon or an experiment or anyone's heir. Just a child, hers. But what would this child be? Human? Wolf? Something in between? And what world was she bringing them into? Mia picked up her phone. Dominic's number. Rafe's number. Doc Cross's emergency line. If it still worked. 3 different futures. 3 different choices. She could tell Dominic, give him the family he never knew he wanted, bind them together permanently beyond contracts and council laws. She could tell Rafe, give him the second chance he'd earned through restraint, let him be a father from the beginning this time. She could tell no one, disappear with Liam, start over somewhere the past couldn't follow, raise this baby far from packs and politics and power. Her finger hovered over the screen. Outside, Liam laughed at something Dominic said. The sound carried through walls that used to feel like cages but now felt like shelter. Maybe. Mia looked at her reflection in the mirror. At the faint glow beneath her skin that never fully faded anymore. At the woman who'd been human, then modified, then something else entirely. At the mother who'd do anything, become anything for her children. She put the phone down, walked to the door, and stopped with her hand on the knob. What if the most dangerous thing she could do was hope? What if the kindest thing she could do was walk away? And what if she no longer knew the difference?